Today, yeah, that's your book to advance.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Great.
Great to be here. Really cold. Yes, but we are blessed, and that has been our theme lately. What God has really laid on our hearts is that we are indeed blessed, and we are blessed in order that we might be a blessing to others. Zechariah chapter 8 verse 13 says that God saved us in order that we would be a blessing to all nations. And in verse 16 it tells us exactly how we are to do that. It says, "These are the things you shall do. Speak each man the truth to his neighbor. Give judgment in your gates for truth, justice, and peace." So that's what Dan and I strive to do as we are interacting with people, is to speak truth in love and to build relationships with people. And we do that by your help. We partner with you. Oh wow, I forgot that was one by one. We partner with you to serve through Commission to Every Nation as our sending agency. You see that name sometimes on our newsletters and things. So that's our sending agency. We are stationed at Across, which is a local South Sudanese organization, the oldest Christian organization in South Sudan, founded in 1972. So we serve at Across, that's our duty station, if you will, and in the country of South Sudan. South Sudan is still a country that is in conflict. There's still war throughout the country this year, and in addition to the pandemic, which we have all experienced, we've also experienced unprecedented drought across the land, flooding that has destroyed crops and homes and people's possessions, and also resulting in famine. We're one of the few places in the world today that it has active famine going on. So the humanitarian situation is quite dire, but not even as dire as the spiritual situation, the spiritual famine that people are facing. So, yeah, in South Sudan. So we interact with a lot of different kinds of people, and we have a little bit of a different role. So most of the time I'm in the office of Across. Across is an organization with about 300 staff people serving in 8 different locations around the country, plus northern Uganda and Nairobi, Kenya. We don't have any ministry going on in Kenya at this point in time, but we're looking to try and expand that. So when Dan and I joined Across, you can see our reach has really broadened because we're in partnership with a team of 300 South Sudanese Christians serving the nation. We are one of 5 missionaries that are serving with the organization, and so 5 out of 300 people, and we're really excited about that. These are some of the ladies that I work with on a daily basis, just a few of them because we're scattered. About 75 are in Juba, which is where we live. In addition to that, I do oral Bible storying, and this is a group of new oral Bible study instructors that were just trained only a few weeks ago. And so these guys actually are train the trainers, or second level oral Bible study instructors that we just recently trained. When we get back, we'll be doing a leadership training to help take them to the next level. And that way we can share the gospel and share the scripture with people who don't even have the ability to read. And even those who do read are actually prefer to hear the gospel rather than read it, because reading is not their natural way of getting information. Hearing and in relationship is their natural way of getting information. In addition to that, I teach at Nile Theological College, and these are some of my graduating seniors right after the final exam. So they're still smiling, that's the good news. And they took their final, everyone passed, very happy. And these were Christian education graduates, so they just graduated with their certificate in Christian education. You're up.
Okay, so my role's a little different than Teresa's. I am very hands-on, being from an agricultural development background with that training. I use that as my platform or my foundation, and I get access and opportunity to speak to and have a place in many people's lives. This last year was a little different because of the COVID situation, and we had 2 agricultural interns, And I have another gentleman that I work with, that his sole responsibility is to go and set up income generation for geared toward ministry, to fulfilling the Great Commission, to teach self-support to missionaries. So we do this through setting up timber plantation, market gardens, in association with ministries. There, we want to help them remove themselves from the dependence on the West for all the money coming in, and start to see a vision, cast a vision for what the church locally can do through managing the natural resources, the human resources, the spiritual resources, and package that all together. So in order to package it together, we are actually teaching Christian worldview as our foundation. Then we're building some agricultural development things on top of that. So this is even in the kitchen, we're mentoring and we're working with these young men, and we're cooking meal together. It's kind of like biblical times where Jesus was out with the disciples, and these are sort of my disciples. And so next slide. Okay, so even we try to figure out the strategies of even the worst of soils. One thing that's going on in South Sudan is people are so insecure. They're hunkered in around cities, and they've moved out of the rural areas. Can you imagine a country with 1/4 of the population, 11 million, that is no longer in the place they were a few years ago because of the conflict in the country? Their soils are being depleted. They're trying to farm on a small little area around a city, and anything outside of that area, they say, is too insecure. They cannot go there and farm in their villages because of the amount of criminal activity and corruption in the country. Imagine.
I bet you're glad your garden doesn't look like that.
We're trying to find the worst of the worst places on the compound, and we are actually successfully growing types of primary species like legumes to improve, and we're learning how to do it, and we're teaching it to others, and taking the interns through that. Next, and this is a group, I was in Kakuma, the refugee camp. Some people have been the refugees for 20 years or more in South Sudan and in the surrounding countries, Kenya, Uganda. So I get out to these places. I try to link them with opportunities to make money locally so they can get back and get plugged in. They can use their new English education that they've got in these refugee situations, and they can get back and help. So the next one. We had, when Corona hit, we got more busy. And we started realizing that there was an opportunity to do training locally there in the city of Juba with all these different groups. And my friend is the Minister of Religious Affairs. He gave me his whole connections to his Army chaplaincy group. And so we did a training. That's where we started. And then every week we did another training for 3 days. And then we went out to orphanages, and we went out to all these different places. Sometimes we do 2 trainings a day, and it was amazing what doors God would open up in the midst of this coronavirus season. So actually, I actually was more busy than ever before. An opportunity. When I was out in Kenya a year ago, I connected with a gentleman. His name's Gabriel. And he's part of this linkage that we're trying to make to preparing missionaries to actually be self-supporting. The church is very limited in its support for these missionaries. And we see missionaries going out from the local area. They come back and they're discouraged. They can't feed their families. Their families are so poor. It's not a good testimony to Christianity. So we want to build the capacity. That's kind of one of my roles. And I've linked up with Gabriel, and if anybody is interested, he actually has had successful business in the past, so I'm trying to build in a capacity to have him bless the local missionaries through some of his skills, of his business skills. So that's one new thrust forward, and if you guys want to participate in that, let me know. And then also we've linked up with Lady in Peace. Some other missionaries have sent her to a lot of training, and I'm kind of benefiting from that in community health evangelism. She comes in, works with the ladies, and she does the follow-up of all the trainings. And so I'm actually having someone who's constantly checking and following up with the training. And we're looking for a little bit of support and for her as well, because she has a family and she just is having a new baby. Next slide. So get involved with us, please. If you have extra time in particular, even if you're not digging into your pockets for money, get involved with us. Read our newsletter, get on, connect with us on social media, donate computers, even if they're broken. We're trying to do a street children ministry.
That's a vocational training where we're teaching street children to repair broken computers. So broken ones are fine.
Smartphones, tablets, I can load all my books and share them with people on tablets. I have a lot of really good Christian transformation type books, and so we want to get those out to people. And it's the cheapest way of doing it instead of having to buy books for everybody. Donate funds for self-reliance for missionaries. We're working on finding funds for donkeys, for motorcycles, so the missionaries have a way of a means of peddling goods and relay and taking their things with them, and doing agrovet where they're training. I'm setting up missionaries to learn veterinary medicine so they can maximize their blessing. And you come to South Sudan, teach, work, or visit. Whatever skill you have, we'll figure out a way to plug you in. I'm serious about this. Coronavirus doesn't have to mean that we're not involved. You can, from behind your computer, you can mentor from a distance. You can teach something that you know on the computer. It's a new world, and we need to capitalize that. The world community and Satan is using the media for destructive things. We can pull it around and use it for very positive things, for discipleship.
So thank you so much. We're so happy to be here, and we'll be available after the service. If you're not currently getting our newsletter, there's a sign-up sheet out there, but I know a lot of you are because I am in communication with you. So thank you and God bless.